If you're a handmaker or crocheter like me and have been selling your items or want to sell them, today I'm talking about the lessons I learned weathering 2020 and how we can turn these lessons into tips for you for your handmaking and crochet success in 2021. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome back. I'm Viloria-Miguel, owner and founder of Canada Bliss handmade crochet hats and accessories. In my videos, I talk about handmade crochet tips, life, and business. You may have already been following along on my handmade journey, and my first posts talk a lot about how I got started, but I'll tell you there is so much that happens in between. You may have noticed that I haven't posted for a bit, and I'm not one to make excuses, but I will be honest, this year was a true test in adaptability, pretty much for all people. So with all businesses in a mad scramble for this crazy on again, off again lockdown environment, I had literally no idea what would happen to my business. All I knew was that I had to keep my eyes and my ears open, be super adaptable with the tools and the resources that I had. So be sure to stay to the end so you learn about my biggest successes and the things that I learned so that you could take them away with you as well. So with the quick changes that were happening in the community, the government, a lot of my time had been spent actually trying to maximize my busy season as quick as possible in the environment that it is. Now the main components of my business is usually selling finished handmade crochet hats and accessories, either business to business wholesale or business to consumer through craft shows and through online. So what I was observing was basically once lockdowns and restrictions were happening, craft shows were pretty much axed, or very, very few. And virtual shows started popping up, which I found to be quite dismal. For wholesale, I didn't know who would still buy the fall winter, which stores would be around, how the slowdown would affect businesses. I didn't know if shoppers were willing to part with the disposable income. And for my website and selling directly to consumers, it looked like that was where I was going to have to really lean in heavy. So for me, this is how things played out. In-person craft shows I did not attend. The big one I usually participate in was canceled, and they turned it into a virtual show event. In terms of virtual shows, virtual craft shows weren't necessarily terrible for everybody. Virtual shows were great at getting people who were in connection with the virtual organizers and driving that traffic to sellers who don't already have an online audience. So these were great for new sellers, maybe sellers who weren't that tech savvy, maybe sellers who didn't already have an automated marketing setup so that they could build their customer base. I think that they were really useful for people who may not have already had an online presence or may not already have a set group of buyers that buy from them, and or maybe needed to set up an online shop finally and were forced to set up online. I personally didn't participate in them because for me every last cent was going to count this year, and I was debating on whether or not I would spend my money paying organizers to participate in virtual shows or whether I should use it on advertising to generate traffic that went directly to my site. So participating and time spent on anything had to convert into sales for me. I didn't want to burden my customers, driving them to more shows and emails and websites online. My advice to anyone was that if they already had an online email or social media audience and were thinking about going into virtual shows, you had to keep in mind that you were driving traffic into a diluted market where shopper may not end up shopping from you. Kind of like sending people to Etsy, which is not necessarily a bad thing because people can also shop for other things as complementary products to your own, and also gets people to hang out in the platform for longer. But sometimes you may lose, if you're trying to build a brand, it's difficult to get brand identity when you're mixed in with a whole bunch of different people. Also, people get online shopping burnout. They get tired of looking around and then they just kind of give up on making their purchase. I felt my best bet was to try to communicate directly to my consumers through social media, email, and online, and collaborate with sellers that I already had a connection with. And also, as part of my own due diligence when it comes to any kind of show, I don't do shows, whether it's craft shows, virtual or not, that I haven't walked or participated or done some research in. And these virtual shows all popped up so quickly that you had no data on how well they were going to do. If they hadn't run it before, you don't know if they can really convert their audience that they gained from in-person shows into virtual buyers. Virtual buying behavior is a lot different than shopping in a marketplace. Now, if you're finding this interesting so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because there's more where this came from, so let's keep going. Now, in terms of my wholesale business, from my observation, boutique owners were also being conservative because they needed to recover from like when things were in lockdown or if there were closures or slowdowns. And they also needed to offload the inventory from that time that they would normally have sold. So I did something that I don't normally do when I call boutiques. And for the ones that had standing orders, I asked them if they needed to adjust their order. I mean, I didn't outwardly say if you need to make it smaller or cancel it, then you can. But I also wanted to show them that I was willing to work with them so that they weren't strapped for cash either, and that I'm in their best interest trying to hopefully keep them in business as well, because I'm sure they don't want unsold items and I don't want my items going unsold either. So I wanted to be able to work as a team to make sure that if I could help them stay above water, then it was always in our best interest, because if they go under, then it ends up being a lose-lose situation, right? It ended up that some boutiques did close, but many did stay open. And what surprised me was the ones that did amazing staying alive were the bricks and mortars stores that had the following things. They had great social media presence, a strong sense of community loyalty from their business model, which normally would involve workshops and social gatherings at their shop, because it helped them form a community connection. And then when lockdowns and slowdowns happened, they already had a relationship with their customers, which helped them continue on throughout the year. This was fabulous to see. So this brings us to my online business. And I thank the Lord I was already set up online. When I first started selling way back in 2013 or 14, I knew I wanted online to be a primary focus because it fit within my lifestyle. I got to work from home, I like technology. So over the course of the last couple of years, I've made an effort to grow the social side and online side of my business and build a strong customer base. And lo and behold, when this lockdown and slowdown happened, I just thank my lucky stars that I was already set up efficiently and I had a place to direct my customers. What did come as a surprise, and I enjoyed, was the temporary captive audience I had, where customers were eagerly distracting themselves with online shopping for a little bit. The surge in local support and businesses bonding together, customers repeat buying and then buying gifts for themselves and posting themselves in the items to show where they got them. Local artisans helping out each other by buying from each other. I would do swipe up features for friends and businesses and put a sticker on my Insta stories so that I could show people too where to find awesome stuff at someone's store or online. And I still do it. I think it was a wonderful wave, and it still is a wonderful wave of everyone supporting each other and helping each other out. From all this, we are learning that we need each other more than we know. And now we see that it's so important to connect with one another and help each other mentally and economically. And it's important to establish a sense of community for our own mental health and for the joy of interacting, as well as for providing support and the gratification you get when you make a connection or when you can help someone else out. All I can say is promote each other and support one another, because there's more than enough in this world to go around. So if you're thinking about selling your handmade or crochet items and haven't started yet, or are new in the process, then take these tips and use them to make the most efficient choices you can in 2021 with the investments you make in your business. Meaning you need an online e-commerce setup to point your customers to, you need social media, and you need to build your customer base. You need to nurture your connections with your suppliers, your customers, your audience, and your peers. And you need to set up a system to make logistics and selling so that you can focus on creative things. Now, if you're on a marketplace website like Amazon Handmade or Etsy, that's great. If you want to take a stab at creating your own website, I personally use Shopify. And if you are interested in trying to create a Shopify site for yourself, I'll put my link below because you can get a 14-day free trial if you like. Oh, and you know what might be fun? Let me know in the comments below if you would like to see like a tech walkthrough of how to set up like a really simple and easy Shopify shop, because I can do like a screen capture of just setting up a super easy Shopify shop. That way you can give the platform a try. And finally, I just wanted to remind you that I'm also still doing research calls for people thinking about starting their handmade or crochet business in the new year. So if you'd like some tips and you want a free like one-on-one chat with me, it's not a sales call, it's just a chance for me to learn more about hand makers and also for you to ask questions if you have any. And I'll put a link to that description below. Just go into the calendar and pick a time that works for you, and then I'll send you a Zoom message. So let me know in the comments below what your goals are for 2021, because I'd love to hear from you and what you have planned for the upcoming year. And don't forget to subscribe and watch any of these next videos for other tips that'll help you set up your online business or improve it. And friends, thank you so much for watching my channel and staying with me. Knowing you're all out there helps me look forward to brighter days ahead. This morning alone, I woke up and I hit 2,000 subscribers and even more viewers on each of the videos. And I know I'm no rock star, but I just want to let you know I appreciate how much you guys have supported me and cheered me on and communicated and interacted with me. I love this channel. I'm so glad that I have more time to post on it. And friends, keep going and keep having a healthy, safe, and happy handmaking life. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, friends.